Becoming Awesome with Peter D. Expand your consciousness. Welcome to Becoming Awesome. Today we're going to learn more about inherent thriving and actually do a process on how to connect to Gaia's 5D field of inherent thriving. So stick around to the end of the podcast. You're going to want to learn how to just really drink in that beautiful energy moment to moment. If you've already listened to this podcast, you can skip ahead to 22 minutes and 10 seconds for the meditation. If you hear any thumping in the background of this podcast, that's because my beautiful cat is right here on the table helping me, and he's whacking his tail because he's so happy. So you get a little extra today with Ninja the cat being our friend. Now, if you'd like to get a standalone recording of the Gaia field process, you can always donate. Go to the donation page, which is becomingawesome.podbean.com, and click Patron, and you'll be able to not only support more people finding out about the tools to become awesome, but also you'll have access to the Gaia field process and many other important processes to help clear your stuck energies and move into the 5D field. That's where we're headed. You may as well enjoy the ride and may as well use some tools that have helped so many other people get there. So that's becomingawesome.podbean.com. When you're there, click on the Patron button. Now, of course, last bit of housekeeping, please like, please subscribe, please follow, please share this video and podcast. That's the way it is in this computer world where algorithms determine which videos and which audios are placed in front of people. By you liking and subscribing, you're letting the computer know that this is an important message, so more people will have the opportunity to learn and excel and become awesome. Now, we're going to review the science of inherent thriving. And I'm going to be looking at my notes a lot during this if you're watching the video, because it's some technical stuff. We're going to be looking at the work of Nassim Haramein, who is the founder of the Resonance Science Foundation. And he's developed a unified field and holographic theory of the universe. Now, this is big because it's basically the theory of everything. And the theory of everything has been the holy grail that scientists have been after for over 100 years. You see, the rules of the big and the rules of the small are different. They don't apply. So we understand the orbit of planets, we understand particle physics, but when we get down to the real tiny level, the quantum level, it's a different set of rules. And no one has been able to unite these rules, not even Einstein, who helped found much of what we know as physics today. What we've found is that since quantum physics has been introduced for over 100 years, it's always proven in every test, and it's also shown that consciousness affects what's going on at the very, very small level. And there's been no scientific formulas that account for how the interaction of consciousness works until Haramein stepped up to the plate and was able to unify with the theory of everything. Now, what he did is he drew on the work of Max Planck, and you've probably heard of him because of the Planck constant. And over a century ago, Max Planck postulated that the quantum of electromagnetic action relates to a photon's energy to its frequency. So in non-geek speak, that means that the Planck constant multiplied by a photon's frequency is equal to a photon's energy. This won him the Nobel Prize back in 1918, more than a century ago. All right. Haramein was able to mathematically expand on that to describe what he calls voxels. Now, roughly speaking, this is the smallest state within a proton. And it's relatively equivalent. You can understand voxels if you understand the concept pixels. On your screen, you can keep adjusting the resolution by so many, pixels per inch, vertical and horizontal. Well, it's the same thing in 3D, except it's voxels. And this voxels adjust the resolution of matter that we can see and interact with. So in a nutshell, and this is the part that's crazy, and when I first heard this, my head exploded. And if you heard the last interview with G.W. Harden, I said, my head exploded when you said that, G.W., and he says, it should. So get ready, because your head's going to explode, and it should. All right? The mass of all the voxels in a single proton is equal to the mass of the entire universe. I mean, that's crazy. And each little individual proton is the mass of the entire universe. Now, how can that be? How can that possibly be? And the answer, which Harameen was able to determine, is that on the event horizon of each voxel are an infinite number of wormholes. The event horizon of a voxel is literally a wormhole connected to every other voxel in the universe. That's how each voxel then contains the mass of the entire universe, because they're wormhole connected. So the implication of this is staggering in that it teaches us oneness. Any single little bit is the all, or at least it's connected to the all. It's a fractal. It's kind of wild when you think about that. Now, I'm not really qualified to give you a complete breakdown of the quantum physics and the math involved in this, but fortunately, Harameen does this on his website, Resonance Science Foundation. Okay, it's resonancescience.org. And you can actually take a free class explaining the unified theory of everything. So if you're into physics, go there, please. Learn this stuff. It is so cool. I've been enjoying it, but like I said, I'm not qualified to give you the full explanation of it. So it's better to go to the source. And think about it. What do? We distract ourselves. I do. I distract myself. Netflix binges. I follow 3 or 4 sports teams, Now, back in the day when Einstein was producing all the beautiful theories that changed an entire generation for a century, he was treated like a rock star by the media. Now, the only time scientists ever get celebrity status is when they're telling us doom and gloom, oh, you're going to die from this virus. Other than that, they don't pay attention to them. They're more interested, the media is more interested in pushing out shows on follow this sports figure because he or she is a hero. Follow this family because they're dysfunctional and they're celebrities and you can watch them fight with each other on reality TV. Oh, isn't that exciting? All this distraction to take you outside of yourself, outside of the wonders of the universe. That's what's being sold to us. So if you're ready to do something different, you're ready to claim your awesomeness, you might want to start with a science class. Now, the notion of everything being connected is really not that far-fetched if you look at any of the masters who have embraced consciousness in ways that we look at and go, wow, look at what they can do. I mean, think about this. There's more and more channelers in the world. They're channeling ETs, they're channeling angels, they're channeling people who have passed on, they're channeling their spirit guides, their sacred higher self. What's this channeling thing? It's information moving from one dimension in place to another dimension in place instantaneously with no time passing across space. It's a connected oneness. Masters who channel actually understand on a practical level. Maybe they don't know the science of how a car is built, but they can drive it. They understand how to make connections through time and space because they're tapped into the field of oneness. If you bilocate or do remote viewing, it's the same thing, except instead of information, you're seeing places. You're traveling your consciousness and your energy to places. And then once you start to bilocate and remote view, time is kind of slippery. You can remote view a past life. You can go back in history and see what's going on. Time and space becomes bendable because it's all one. And our masters know that. And the good news is more and more of us are becoming that way. As we ascend into 5D, these skills are going to start to naturally evolve. I mean, one of my favorite teachers, Jesus said, is do as I do, and not only shall you do this, but you shall do more. He knew that it's all in us. And if you embrace it, do as I do, you're going to start becoming more. And you're going to start bending time and space, bilocating, channeling. And this is all scientifically proven now. It's all scientifically proven by Haramin's theory of everything. Now, the bottom line, I think, is that Haramin posted on his Facebook page. I think this is really good, and I want to read this quote directly. He said, "There are no boxes to think outside of." There are no boxes to think outside of. This whole think outside the box, that's just a creation of separation and being taught that you're less than. He quotes Einstein, who says, "Our separation from each other is an optical illusion of consciousness." So even though Einstein didn't figure out all the math involved, he could see that the separation part was just an illusion. Okay, now this leads to two important conclusions that really affect our world, and most importantly, how we live our lives in the world. If we understand the world, we live in it with ease and grace. One, the universe is conscious. It's not we're conscious and it's a thing. It is conscious, and our consciousness is part of it. I mean, we're uniquely our own beautiful individual signature and frequency of consciousness. And fractally, or through the wormhole voxels, the voxels on wormholes, or however you want to look at it, God's in us, or we're in God, or whatever you call source, or the intelligent conscious universe. Second important conclusion, centropy, not entropy. Centropy is the correct description of how the universe works and how life is expressed through us. So let's unpack these two ideas a little bit. First of all, the universe being conscious. Max Planck, 100 years ago, father of quantum physics, was telling us, I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything we talk about, everything we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Scientifically, you can't get behind it. It is. It is the forest. It is the trees. When I took a class at Oneness University, Sri Bhagavan said, consciousness is unknown and unknowable. The mere question of asking, what is consciousness expressing itself? So you can't get past it. It is the fundamental fiber of who and what we are. Now, Haramin said that our experiments are showing us that the subtle approach, based on the inherent pervasive wormhole network, takes advantage of the natural order of the universe based on consciousness. From that, he concludes the universe is conscious. 100 years later, doing all the math, carrying it forward into the unified theory of everything, same conclusion. It's conscious. And this is my favorite. Haramin says, looking for consciousness in the brain is like looking in the radio for the announcer. Remember that old joke about, they're in the TV. How do people get in the TV? They're not. It's the same with consciousness, which really makes us expansive. Oh, think about that. Think how much you enjoy the thought of just how expansive you are. Drink that in for a moment, because that's what G.W. Harden was teaching in the last episode, is you just make the choice. You just make the choice and you're there. So call it what you want to call it. Intelligent design, God. We are all uniquely expression of all that is. We're a part of all that is. It's in us. We're in it. That's where it gets crazy, and that's what the awe of mystery is, and that's why it's unknown and unknowable, and that's why it is awesome, and that's why this podcast is called Becoming Awesome, because we tap into all that. Now, let's apply this understanding to the laws of thermodynamics. Remember the second law of entropy? It's just that everything's going to die. It's going to fall apart. It says that existence tends towards disorder, randomness, dissipation of energy, homogeneity. In other words, everything dies. Now, the law of centropy, quite the opposite. It says that existence tends towards order, energy, and matter concentration, and the increase in complexity and structures of growth. In other words, as my friend G.W. Harden said, creation rules. Creation rules. I mean, think about it. Creation has to rule if the universe is conscious. Why would any consciousness choose to do anything but be beneficent and thrive? Why would it choose to do, let me just wither and die? Think about who taught you that message. Remember the 2 rules, right? The only two things that are true are death and taxes. Remember that? I grew up being taught that kind of malarkey. Who taught you that? Was it loving source that wants to express its love through you? Or was it controlling individuals who wanted to diminish you, keep you in a state of fear, let you think you're less than, so they can have power over you? Oh, funny how that works. You're less than, they get to be more than. You understand why we've been taught that the only 2 truths are death and taxes, and why that is the law of entropy, and it's a lie. The truth is you're magnificent. You're an expression of all that is. You're an expression of the divine. So where are you going to put your consciousness? A huge part of awakening is understanding that you're connected. And when you understand you're connected, you start to express it and live it, and your joy levels just go up naturally. It's no accident that the scientists at the time of the Great Awakening are helping us with these explanations. It's making it easier for our brains to understand it. Making all of those of us who have hesitancy and resistance, making it easier for us to embrace this because we're seeing the science of it. It's making sense now. That's no accident. Now, a lot of you out there listening are saying, come on, Pete. If inherent driving is really the way things work, if it is the law of entropy that's really fundamental, then how come things are so sucky? There's all this chaos around us and things are falling apart, and in my own personal life, blah, blah, blah. And that's valid. It's valid. The thing you got to understand is that because consciousness means that everything is connected, whatever you choose to focus on, you're instantly connected to, and so the propensity is for that to manifest in you and through you. We've been taught so long that we're limited and we're dying, that's ingrained in our thinking, that's ingrained in our attraction, and therefore it becomes ingrained in our lives. Why do you think earlier I was ragging you about the whole media system that's selling you advertising constantly? Notice there's no ads on these podcasts. Advertising constantly saying, something's wrong with you. You suck. Buy this. You'll be better. People will like you better. You'll have more esteem. They're constantly putting us down. They're constantly distracting us from our magnificence. Follow this celebrity. They're important. They're cool. They make money. They're an athlete. They know better. They're a talking head expert on TV. All the stuff to diminish you is no accident. It's been ingrained in us since birth. And so it's no wonder the world's reflecting that around us. But here's the deal, like my friend GW says. Look at an atomic bomb. Look at 1,000,000 flowers in bloom. Both of them take about the same amount of energy in 3D. Or you can put your consciousness. War and strife? Chaos? Yeah, that's happening. That's why I've done all these episodes on how to move charges and clear that out of you so you can keep your focus on your magnificence and let the beneficent universe come to you and bathe you in the waters of abundance. This is the choices we need to start to make. 1,000,000 flowers. That's what I'm choosing. That's what I hope you're choosing. So now we're going to dive in to a process that's going to help you connect to Gaia's field of inherent thriving, the 5D field of inherent thriving. Gaia's already there. We're going to bring our consciousness into it so it becomes fixed in the way that we live our life. I want to give credit to Analia Benz and her wonderful website, Walk With Me Now. She was the person that first introduced me to this concept of connecting to Gaia's high frequency field. So go learn from her. What a great teacher she is. Walk With Me Now or AnaliaBenz.com. let's dive into how this process works. I've moved into my backyard right at sunrise here in Santa Fe, because I really wanted to be as close to Gaia as I possibly can while we do this meditation to connect to Gaia's 5D field of inherent thriving. Please know that I've already made that connection, and I've asked Gaia and many beings of high frequency to be with us and to help in this transmission, so that a little bit of extra energy is there welcoming you as you make the transition to living as one with Gaia and receiving all the benefits of inherent thriving that come from recognizing you're part of her 5D field. Now, please do not do this meditation if you're listening to this podcast while driving. Wait till you get home and come back in a nice, relaxed place and make that connection. For some of you, there may be a bit of hesitancy and resistance. There's a lot of programming that we should be separate, and so this may be bringing some fear up in you. I highly recommend that you do not bypass that fear, that you wait for some subsequent podcasts where I teach you how to move past all the energy that's coming up, charges and fears and emotions, how to move through them, clear them, so you can actually embrace Gaia fully when you do this process. Don't bypass it. Some of that programming may be, I'm not worthy, or who am I to think that I can actually connect with the magnificence of Gaia, or the fear that if I connect with others, I'll feel all their stuff. These are real, legitimate fears. Please clear them before you move into doing this process. All right. Are you ready? We're going to begin now. We're just going to enjoy all the birds and the traffic and whoever else is waking up with us at this time. Here we go. Take a nice deep breath. Continue breathing deeply as you settle yourself. Now feel all pains, all suffering, all limits and negativity lift from you. Just as you breathe out, see it float away. Nice. Settle into your body. Now breathe in the highest frequency you can feel. Yes. Feel your energy get higher with each breath. Now this part is important. Please set a limit. Only beings of the highest frequency are welcome here. Everyone is welcome to join Gaia in the 5D field, but many people are still afraid and still unwilling to step up to 5D. We can't let their fear and negativity and grasping at 3D prevent the rest of us from ascending, because once we ascend, we'll be able to be a bridge and bring them across. So for this meditation, we're setting a limit. Only beings of high frequency are welcome here. Go ahead and breathe in, set that limit. Only beings of high frequency are welcome here. Great. Now just be clear that you're only inviting in beings with the intent of love and uplifting of all species and all consciousness on Gaia. Please invite your sacred higher self to be with you now. Your divine, whatever you call your God, please bring God with you now. Any spirits, angels, or ETs you work with, please bring your team in. Please ask them, call them by name. Bring in your ancestors, your lineage, your energetic family. And now let's put out a general call. all beings of high frequency, interested, dedicated to creating love and light on our planet, are welcome here now. Breathe in how good that feels. Now please state your intent that through this meditation you will connect and become one with Gaia's 5D field of inherent thriving. State that intent. Through this meditation, I am allowing and becoming one with Gaia's 5D field of inherent thriving. Now choose if you'd like to be an active participant or just an observer. It's all good here. Start to notice the energy signatures around you. Can you see Gaia? Can you feel her? Can you feel any other beings? Can you feel all the people who are enjoying this podcast meditation, even in the future? Because they're here in this field now. There's no time and space in 5D. Take a moment to observe what's around you. Who's around you? The beings around you. And if you feel like it, say hi, introduce yourself, make those connections. Now state your intent to create this field by joining it. It already exists, but it's in 5D, and we want to make it physically present and real in our reality in 3D. So state your intent that you're going to join this field and by so create it for you on this planet in a personal way. Feel your connection now. Feel it grow. Start to see a beautiful net of energy connecting you and everyone else in this field, all the beings of consciousness. Just notice the glowing light connection between you all. Now bring your awareness above the planet. Go to the outer limit where you can see the whole planet and see a beautiful network of gossamer light connecting every bit of consciousness and Gaia's consciousness. See this beautiful glowing pearlescent light network. And as you breathe into it and you're aware of it, watch it grow brighter and stronger. Now notice the heart of Gaia herself right there in the center of all this beautiful web of glowing light. Notice her heart and your heart. Feel the connection of your heart directly to Gaia's heart. Now I'm going to invite you to make this a permanent connection. On the count of 7, go ahead and lock your heart in synchronicity with Gaia's heart. You can do it anytime, or wait till 7 and just make that intent. Feel your connection from your heart to Gaia's heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lock in. Oh, feel how big your heart expands with that connection. Just breathe in the joy and lightness of your connection. Notice now that you're connected, all the life that's around you, the plants. Energetically feel the animals, all the different species. Even the mycelium fungal grid, feel that, throbbing. All beings of consciousness are here. Notice them. ETs. The beautiful, beautiful beings living in inner earth. Plus all the other wonderful people on the planet. And Gaia. Notice all the species, all the love and light around you, and breathe into that. Please experience oneness in the deepest way you can. Now, are you ready to commit to the transformation of being a 5D being physically? If so, I'm going to count to 7 again. And as I do, notice your body. Visualize your body becoming lighter and more crystalline so that you're physically bringing yourself to Gaia's 5D field without losing your connection with your consciousness. Notice your body now. And as I count to 7, see it become lighter, more crystalline, until it just snaps into 5D physically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lock in. Feel your body surge with energy as you become lighter. Literally, enlightenment you're experiencing physically. Breathe that in. Now, would you like to share this gift with everyone on the planet? If so, take the commitment that you're going to be an anchor of Gaia's 5D love and light here physically, so that anyone you come in contact with will feel that frequency. You're literally going to become a lighthouse, a beacon for everyone moving into 5D. Take the commitment to anchor these energies in no matter what's going on around you in 3D. You ready? Let's lock it in again on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lock it in. Now feel the joy of living in 5D. Notice you can access this anytime, no matter what's going on around you in the world. You can bring your consciousness to 5D and help lift that energy up. Don't bypass what's going on. Fully experience and observe. And then you'll be able to actually hold this frequency with ease and joy. Welcome to 5D's, Gaia's 5D field of inherent thriving. Please end this exercise with gratitude. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you, sacred higher self. Thank you, divine. Thank you, all beings who've helped this transformation take place. We're so grateful. You might want to repeat this exercise daily for a period of time until it just becomes second nature for you to be tapped into Gaia's 5D field of inherent thriving. Then from time to time, just bring your consciousness back, revisit this exercise, and you'll just grow more deeply connected. I love you. Stay blessed. Fantastic. Please consider doing this meditation daily until you find that you're automatically in the 5D frequency of Gaia. You're automatically throughout your day just aware that you're connected to this beautiful ascended field of consciousness that you and Gaia and all beings of high frequency are a part of. Then after you find that connection strong, revisit it from time to time. You know, if you're not able to just check in and be right there, just do the meditation every so often. Keep it fresh, keep it alive till it's automatic in you. And thank you. Like I said earlier, there's no ads in this podcast because it's important that the information that comes out is authentic. If you'd like to support that and spread this information to others, you can help me with a donation. Go to becomingawesome.podbean.com and click on the patron button. Or if you're watching the video, there's a link below. And please remember, We're still in the computer matrix world. We're not quite free from it yet. Like, share, and subscribe. That will really help the algorithm on the computer to get this information to more people who are ready to embrace their inner awesomeness. You bless me by attending to these podcasts. I hope that I'm giving you something that uplifts you and bless you in return. My heart to yours.